since you guys were both sick for the open house stuff, this will be perfect. There's Chance. Chance, you at the gym?
Oh, same as usual.
What'd you say? You said yeah?
Yeah, same as usual.
Nice. Is the time you always go in the morning, every day?
Um, it depends when I wake up, but yeah, lately I've been coming in around like 8:30.
Nice. Okay. Well, I want to get into, I'm going to share this here. We're going to get into, I'm going to make some notes on this. So today I want to talk about open house rapport building. I know we did the open house, like full training. Hayden and Chance were at yesterday. There's quite a bit of people there, but it was mostly talking, not a whole lot of role playing and practicing. So, what was some of your guys' big takeaways from yesterday's training with Jason and Tony?
My biggest one was like pulling up the other properties that they might be interested in, like in front of them.
Nice.
I
Yep.
thought that was a cool idea, and like that would make a huge difference because usually I just will be like, oh yeah, I'll send these to you instead of like actually getting them excited like when they're in front of you.
Right.
And I think that would make a really big difference.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good one. Definitely proven to be successful. I've seen Jason, and then I've also done it a couple times, so I think that's a fantastic one. What were you gonna say, Chance? Sorry.
Yeah, really, with like what Jason was saying, I mean, my most important takeaway was the process that he does at the end, as far as how he's going to follow up with these people or how he's going to continue with. Like, it's different for every scenario, but overall, it's the same thing. You want to touch base with them. You want to continue to be the realtor in their face and giving them opportunities. So.
Yeah, good. What's up, bro?
I have a question. I wasn't at this, but obviously I've done open houses with you and Jason, and you guys are the ones that taught me how to do it.
Yeah.
I might be poking the wrong bear here, but I don't know. It is what it is. Those are like the end results, right, of building rapport, right? Like, how do you get to that point? That's my thing. That's the hardest thing for, I think, anybody. It's easy if someone talks and they're like, oh yeah, I want to buy, and I like these 4 houses, Hayden. Hayden can easily pull those up, and so can all of us. But how do you get to that point? Or what if somebody that says, oh, I already have an agent, or I'm somebody that like, they don't want to give it. How do you build that rapport to open them up?
Yeah.
That to me is
the key. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
100%. And that's what we're going to go over today, is that exact thing, because I think that's what takes some practice. And my goal is to get everybody practiced in practice time and not practicing at game time, which is the open house, right? Real quick, before we go into that, just to kind of touch on Chance's point, the follow-up's super important. And what I'm doing in here, I've started this, I'm hoping it'll be done today, but I am creating an open house action plan that you can throw onto a lead as soon as they leave, right? Insert or input their number, their email if they give you one, whichever of the two, and their contact. And then I think us not having an open house drip has been, I think, detrimental to our follow-up just because we get busy and stuff. So I'm hoping that this will help. It's going to be created into like probably a 4-week follow-up, and then it'll auto move to probably either short or long-term nurture. So just wanted to, kind of give you guys a heads up that we're going to get some backup on the follow-up just in case, we drop the ball because we're busy or whatever that may be.
I had a quick question on that. Can your email drips, can you do that as a text?
Yeah, there's going to be text and emails in here.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
Like this one right here is going to be the initial text. So ideally, like one thing that I've always, has been successful for any open house is sending that text right away. But I think that we dropped the ball on that too much. This eliminates us from having to send that text, and it will actually immediately send this text 5 minutes after you put that lead into follow-up boss. So this is actually going to help, so you don't actually have to go in and send that text. This will do it for you. So should be helpful. Let me know if you get any feedback, or give me any feedback on it, depending if you like it, if we need to change something, whatever the case may be. But I'll be working on that today. Now going back to Jordan's question, which is the whole point of this training today, is let's actually practice that, right? So I think yesterday was really, really good in the sense of we got to listen and we got to mastermind and talk, and we heard different opinions and some really, really high level opinions, of course. But let's actually put it into play, because sometimes it's tougher to put it into play than just listening to people, say it. So one thing that we talked about yesterday was, number one, relating to them. So I think that's the first thing, Jordan, is we talked a lot about, like, you relate to them, right? Like, kids is a big one. Do they have a dog? Do they go to the gym? Like, whatever you can find based on the questions that you're asking to relate to them on a personal level, that was is the big rapport building, right? And then, like, Aiden and I did an open house, and I talked about this yesterday, and I talked about rate buy down. And the guy had no idea. He was working with another agent. He literally left the open house and came back to Aiden and I, and it was like, I want to work with you guys, because we provided him an item of value. So I think it's kind of that combination of asking the right questions, connecting with them. I even say just the first 2 questions can be key, right? What brought you in is usually the go-to. And then if you can just ask 1 or 2 good questions, if you active listen to what they're saying at that point, you're going to pick up other questions to ask them, right? Like Chance yesterday, when he ran through it, he was asking about the dog. Oh, and I have a dog, right? Oh, what gym do you go to? What are you lifting today? Things like that will start building that rapport. Then you got to find a way to add an item of value, which can be a little bit hard sometimes as a new agent, right? It could be a rate buy down. It could be MLS searches. It could be showing them what is on the MLS, like Hayden said, right in front of them, right? Like, that's an item of value, right? So let's roll through some of these and just kind of practice, and we'll kind of make them short. We won't go through a bunch, but we'll just kind of switch up partners and just roll through quick role plays of this. And just get some practice and then give some feedback to each other. So who wants to start? Quick, like 3-minute role play, switch, get what you can in that short period of time. Anybody want to go first?
Sure, I'll go.
Okay. Do you want to be the agent or the buyer? Or the client, I should say.
Who's going to go? Me or Jordan? Who was the other one that said?
You guys both can go. You guys go together. Chance and Jordan go. You guys go. Who wants to be the agent?
Okay. Well, I'll be the buyer this time.
Okay. All right. You want to be the agent, Jordan?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. We'll break this into sections, and we'll break it down. You do just the rapport building part. Okay. So just that first couple minutes. Just show us a really good example of how you build rapport off of questions, and then we'll let somebody else do like the item of value and what you would say after that. Okay, we'll break it into sections. So
just like basically when they walk in.
You're going from like, what does your intro look like from the second they walk in the house to like right the first like 3 to 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for coming in today. We have a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, listed a little over. It's right at 575, or it's listed at 575,000, and it's a little over 2,200 square feet. If you guys have any questions, take a look, and I'll be available. My name is Jordan, and then they do their thing, and then I guess Chance can do his thing.
Okay. Are you the listing agent on this one?
I am not. The listing agent is actually someone on my team. I'm just holding the open house for them.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I saw it online and just had to see it. The price looks unbelievable for this home.
Yeah, it's a super nice area. As you know, it's in Ocotillo. I assume you saw the open house online and not my signs, or did you see both?
I saw the signs coming in, but for the most part, yeah, I saw it online. It said coming soon, so yeah, had to check this one out.
Good deal. Just making sure my signs are still up. Sometimes they blow over with these crazy winds. So what else do you have going on today? Just
Just
houses?
yeah, just kind of hanging out today. I got off work. Or I don't work today, so I've been looking at this house, wanted to check it out. So
Okay. Have you been looking long? Or you just kind of starting the process?
no, not really. I mean, I just kind of browse as I go. You know, it's my wife loves looking at these houses, but no, I just browse and I check this one out, and you know, if I find a good deal, I try and get it. You know, so
Yeah, absolutely. So you had so no wife today. What's your wife got going on today? She's not with you.
she's at home with the kids.
Oh, very nice. How many kiddos do you have?
Two,
Nice. How old?
3-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Oh, so you guys are definitely busy.
Yeah, boy and a girl. So
Awesome. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any kids myself, but I have 11 nieces and nephews. So my siblings are always busy. So it's really cool. I assume as the kids get older and start to get bigger, you guys are going to probably try to buy a bigger home. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Cool. Is this the part of town you like the most, this area, or are you open to other parts of the valley?
I'm pretty open to other parts. Kind of like I said, I'm mainly just looking for that good deal out there. And yeah, so how many square feet was this one again?
This one is 2205, so a little over 2,200 square feet.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and check it out a little bit.
Pause.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pause. Good. I don't want to go too far. I want to mix up a little bit, but
Yeah.
good job. Hayden,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be your buyer. Aiden's feeling sick, so we're gonna he's just kind of just tuning in and listening. So I'm gonna be your buyer, and you be the agent, and we're gonna roll that same section that Jordan just did. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Knock knock.
I open the door. Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. My name's Hayden.
Nice to meet you, Hayden. My name is Guy.
Nice to meet you. So this is a 3-bed, 2-bath. It's 2,000 square feet and it's listed at 500,000. So take a look around and let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, I will.
And then they walk around a little bit. Yeah, do the thing. How did you find out about this open house?
Was searching on Realtor.com last night, and I saw that they had it listed as an open house.
Okay, nice. And have you been seeing a lot of other homes that you're interested in online?
There's a couple others that I kind of have interest in, but I don't know. They didn't have open houses today.
Okay, cool. So you're kind of just looking around for now?
Yeah. We're probably a couple months out from really pulling the trigger, so we're just getting a feel for the area.
Nice. Where do you guys live at now?
We live over in Gilbert right now.
Okay, that's cool. Have you lived there for a while?
About 2 years now, going on 2 years.
Nice. Are you from Arizona?
No, I'm actually from Montana.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah.
What brought you over here?
My wife got a job down here, and we wanted to get out of the cold, so we just took that job opportunity and loving it so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I moved here for the same reason, although I'm sure Montana is a lot colder than New Jersey, which is where I'm from.
Oh, you're from New Jersey. Nice. How do you like it here?
I like it a lot more than New Jersey.
Good. That's awesome. Well, yeah, we just wanted to take a look around, so I do appreciate this. What did you say the price was?
It's 500,000.
Okay. Might be a little bit higher than we're looking for. We're trying to stay under 450.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. That's not super different from here. Are all the other homes that you're interested in around 450?
My wife has 3 others on the list that are right around there.
Okay, perfect. So what attracted you to this home? Are you just looking in the area?
We really like the backyard and the size of it the most.
Okay, nice. Do you have a backyard now?
Yeah, we do. We do. Our kids need to like run around and stuff, so that's like really important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. How old are your kids?
They are 10 and 14.
Okay, so they're super active, huh?
Yeah, yeah, just starting sports and everything.
Oh yeah, what sports do they do?
Basketball and football.
Oh, nice. My
Yeah.
brothers did all of that growing up, so I know that that keeps you super busy,
Oh,
running all
nice.
over the place all the time.
Nice. Yes, it does. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Time.
absolutely.
What do we think? Start with Jordan, and I wanted to go back to back, see a comparison. How we feeling? Feedback for both of them. A little bit different approaches, or not different approaches, similar approaches. And I don't know. Let me ask you this, Jordan. Um, you just for confirmation, because I've done some, but I want to make sure you're still doing it. When people walk in, you do like the intro, and then you immediately say the house, and then you hand them a sheet, and then you let them walk around, and then you hit them the same way that Hayden just did.
Yeah, yeah, I let them walk a little bit unless it's kind of one of those things. If it's like a weird house or like it's kind of unusual, or I don't, or if they kind of, you can kind of tell if people like if someone comes in by themselves, but they're a lot and they're really friendly. Like I might walk with them depending, but usually I let them go like do their thing, and
Yeah.
so they don't feel like I'm like bum rushing them. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's similar to Hayden.
Yeah. And then Hayden, when are you asking your first question? Like if I'm walking around, like obviously it's a little bit of a role play, but are you waiting until they see the whole house, or are you asking them as they're like in the middle of like if it's a two-story and they're starting at the kitchen downstairs in the living room, are you asking those questions when they're downstairs in that kitchen living room, or are you not saying anything until they go upstairs and then come back down?
Well, no, if they stay near me, like I'm not just gonna like stand there and watch them and like not say anything. So if they're near me, like I'll start that conversation after a couple of seconds because I don't, first of all, want it to feel like I'm just like staring them down and like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And also I feel like that's more natural for me. So if they're near me, I'll start that conversation sooner. But like if they go off, like I don't like follow them really,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
So
Good.
yeah.
I think you guys both did really good with asking questions. I don't think that this is something that anybody struggles here with. I just think it's something we want to just reiterate. I like the active listening, right? Like the yard, and then Hayden went into the kids' age. What sports do they play? Just digging deeper on them. I think that's really good. Chance and Jordan, any feedback for Hayden on your end? What you guys saw with her rapport building?
Yeah, I know that that's exactly how you are in terms like I've heard you talk to clients and talk to people that I know it's very dialed in. You have like a super warm presence in terms of like you're an inviting person as opposed to like I don't know like it's a good thing. But yeah, you always ask a lot of good questions. I think you're also not afraid to ask questions like a newer agent would be. I remember at the beginning like someone said something about their kids. I didn't want to ask about their kids. I thought it was weird. And then the more you go on, you learn that people want to talk about themselves,
Yeah.
their families, and what they do. That's why I asked. Usually, mine wasn't super like seamless, but usually it's like, oh, what else do you have going on today? Or you guys have anything fun planned during football season? Like if it's like there was a guy one time wearing a Cardinals hat, so I'll talk about like gonna watch the game today, or like you guys around the golf. Like you can kind of tell by their attire. But yeah, you do a great job of that.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think you did too, obviously.
Yeah. All right. I think that's probably the easiest part of the open house. Wouldn't you guys agree? Is that intro? I think the in my opinion the hardest part is providing that item of value to lock them in, and then asking for the sign in or asking for the number and locking them in like that. What's up?
I have a question though about that, and this is for the group. Arlene and I were talking about it the other day, because there's sometimes people that come in and you can tell they're super closed off. You can tell they're super like their energy's off, or they're kind of grumpy, or like I'm just a nosy neighbor.
Yeah.
Do you or do we all? Because I know I don't. Do you have the same process every time, and do you do the same thing every time, or does it depend on like what your mood is, what their mood is, like that? Like I think that's a big thing to talk about because I think you got to get to the point where you're doing it the same every single time. Because there's so many times opportunities that, oh, they're being like, he said he's the nosy neighbor, but really he's not. He just doesn't want to get bugged. And he might be the one that actually is looking for a house.
Yeah.
So how do you like sift through that? Or like, what's your approach? Like, I guess for Hayden, or like, I know Guy, I've watched you do it with you, but like, do you guys do it the same every single time for everybody, every single person that walks in with the pulse?
I personally always start out the same. Like I do the same little overview of the house when they walk in. I let them do their thing. But like how many questions I guess I ask, or like how hard I'll follow them around the house, will depend on like what they're giving back to me, because like it's, everyone can tell when someone does not want to talk, like is not gonna, like if they're walking away from me when I'm talking to them, like I'm not gonna keep pushing them because I don't want to make them uncomfortable, and I also don't want to work with someone who doesn't even want to have like a 5-minute conversation with me. So yeah, like I start the same, but I don't always end in the same place. And yeah, sometimes I don't even ask people for their information because they're backing up as I'm trying to talk to them. So
yeah, I like to comment on that, Jordan. Same thing as Hayden. Like really, to me, it depends on the scenario. Like a nosy neighbor could be a good or bad thing. To me, I don't see any point in not trying to get anyone's information. Like if you can, like the way I see it is a nosy neighbor could potentially be wanting to sell their house or looking for a friend to move in the neighborhood, maybe, or they're just being a nosy neighbor. But that's for you to fill out in that situation. But my process is pretty similar when they walk in the door. Usually I try to gather that information when they walk in the door. We kind of went over it yesterday, but I'm more of like when they walk in the door, I don't have MLS sheets typically, or I do have them tucked away in a folder because some people, most people want it, but I try to send it to them through text the moment they walk in the door. Here's some info on the house, and I could send you all the information right now. What's the best number to send that to?
Yeah.
And to me, I start building rapport right there and let them have their freedom and come back to you and ask questions. But to that point, it's all on the scenario, like really. But I try to get everyone's information. Doesn't mean you need to put it in your CRM or anything like that. But, and at least giving my card to everyone that's there. Yeah. So
one thing I would say is you're going to develop your identity, right? Like, I know certain agents that they won't let people leave without signing, right? And then you have agents that like Jason and myself and Tony, who are a little bit more of a soft sell, right? Like if you're going to push back, you're not going to open up, and like I'm just going to keep doing them and keep finding more people. I'm not going to force you to work with me because I don't want to work with you at that time, right? I would say chance if you get anybody, always put it in your CRM though, right? Like if you gather that, like, you always want to get them in there because they gave you their contact info for a reason, which I'm assuming you probably do, but you just kind of made a comment. So I just want to make sure we stay on top, like don't get somebody and then not put them in unless you truly don't want to work with them. That'd be the only time I would say.
That was kind of the point there. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now I will say, in my opinion, what I have found at open houses that I think might not get talked about enough is I think that this is important, is building that rapport. But how many times have we built good rapport with people because they're nice and then they leave, right? That's what I find. That's why to me this is important, don't get me wrong, but to me this is what locks you in, because in my opinion or my experience, what I have found with open houses is you have two people that will work with you. People that are legitimate buyers and they're nice people, and it just they want to work with you because they want the help, right? Like they don't have somebody they're committed to, and it's a home run. It's the easiest lead. Anybody could get that lead. Second one is the people that are closed off and you find a way in, and that's what we have to do, because doing this stuff is not always enough to get in. It's the additional stuff, right? So for me, it's moving the needle forward, and that's what I think we need to work on for the rest of this, is how do we move the needle forward? So like, go ahead.
But that's what I mean. Like, that, I guess that's what I'm getting to because
Yeah.
every single one of us can make phone calls all day to people we don't know. They can mother F us and it's like, whatever. But when you get in front of people, it can be a little different. I say, like, I think there's probably moments of opportunities that I do it too. Like, if someone's kind of like closed off to me, all right, have a good day. Like, I'm not going to do that. But I think we look at it a little bit differently being in person with somebody because you see their reaction and there's more of that like intimate feel. Like you're in a house, you're trying to ask these questions and they're not giving you anything.
Right.
It's harder than over the phone, like whatever.
Yeah. So let's what are some good secondary questions? And when I say secondary, I mean like that second win, right? I look at a lead as your first part is your rapport building, your second part is locking that client in. So not secondary as like follow up to a first question, but what are some good questions that would lock them in? Like I'll give you one right now just as kind of an example to get the ball rolling. A question that I use that I feel is kind of my go-to, and Jordan's probably heard me say this many times, is do you have anyone or do you have, what's the word? It's a variation, but basically it's do you have anyone helping, or how are you finding other homes? Let's go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll never ask them if they have an agent though.
No, and I don't either, but I will at times, just be honest with you, I will say like, hey, how are you guys looking for other homes? Do you have somebody opening homes for you, or are you just going to open houses?
Yeah, I do that too, but I won't like directly be like, oh, do you have an agent?
Agreed. 100% agreed. 100%.
I almost say that word for word.
So what are some more good secondary questions like that get the ball rolling? Let's throw out some other good ones.
I do like, how long have you been looking?
Okay.
How has that process been going?
Yeah.
Okay. What about has anyone explained the home buying process
Oh, that's a good one.
to you?
Or like, how familiar are you with the home buying process?
Mm-hmm.
You could even, I mean, it's tough to say, but if they're like younger, you might even be able to ask, like, is this your first time buying a home on your own or something like that?
Yeah.
Or older too, like so there's people that buy their first house at 50.
Yeah. What else? Anything else here? I mean, that's 5 really good ones right there. Items of value. What are some different items of value, right? Rate buy down is a good one.
I think just being able to talk about the market in general, because everybody that comes in knows that rates are high, but being able to counteract that and say, well, yes, rates are high. But if rates do low, there's a good chance that the market's going to get busy again and you're going to have to come out of pocket. Just being able to, use that.
Yeah. That's a good point. I definitely don't want to diminish that point. I don't know. I don't know if there's a question off of that necessarily for this, but I think that you do need to know that, and that's super important through your conversations with these things, right?
Just to be sure, are we talking about like getting them to the point of getting their information?
Yeah, we want.
Are you asking questions that get them to that next step of wanting to give their info?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Just what's moving that needle to lock them in, rather than just becoming buddy with them, then they leave, right? Like you need something that moves the needle. These questions are needle moving questions, right?
Right.
Because from here,
I think,
go ahead.
My huge one would be like, what's your next step? Or, kind of off of what Jordan said, where are we at in the process?
What about this one?
But yeah,
going off that,
there's a lot of value we can provide. Like even when we did the role play and towards the end, you were face office on giving your number, and I had to tie it back in at the end to sending you more homes that are comparable to this one. It's just kind of like, I don't know, hitting those hot points on whatever they are focused on.
Yeah. So going off of that, I think that this is a huge one. What's your timeline looking like? I think that's a fantastic one. I use that one a lot. And then I'll throw one last one out because this is a good list, right? Like you don't need more than this. You have 3 of these in your repertoire and pick which of those 3 work best in that situation, right? This is my go-to final question that I always ask people is, that right there, I think is the most in my opinion, the most powerful question you can end with if you can't get them anywhere, right? This is not something I think you do if you've locked them in, if that makes sense. But I think if you are at a spot where like you can't do it, they're just not budging off of these questions, right? They're just really still standoffish. This right here is my final question always. What can I do for you guys moving forward? How can I make this process easier for you?
Well, and I think too, I think we missed, like I was talking to somebody the other day, like people always are like, oh, we need to do open houses. So obviously get new leads, and everyone's always like, well, and if not, we can just work. Use people that come, in my mind, it's like, this is the best type of practice is like asking these questions to people that are like, maybe they are the nosy neighbor or something like that, or they're not giving you a lot. Like you're not losing anything. I think there's too much of an idea that we're going to like look dumb or it's not going to do any good. The only way you practice is to have these conversations, and it's more than just right now.
Well, if an open house is a dud, you just work. I mean, that's 100% valid, but you need to understand and not you in general, Jordan, but like just in general, like everybody needs to understand that context is for people that don't show up, because obviously you can't make people show up. Then yes, an open house is not a waste of time. It's a 3-hour session on a Saturday. Maybe you don't have to work the rest of the day, right? But don't use it as if people are coming in, you're still focusing on your work. Like you should be doing exactly what you just said. You should be honing in these skills with the people that are coming in. Absolutely.
Yeah, because some of these, obviously, like if someone's like, yeah, we already have an agent. If they say that earlier, our agent's out of town or our agent's not here, you can still ask questions. How long have you guys been looking? How's that process been going? Like whatever that is, and have conversations, because people lie about having agents, and maybe you are the one that you really connect with them and they change their mind. You have nothing to lose, I guess. Really, none of our conversations, we're not losing anybody. Right. You might as well have them.
100%. And since we only have 3 minutes left, I want to end with this. I think this is the key that I think needs to be implemented to your process, is always end with lead to next. The people that don't sign in and are way standoffish, like let those go, in my opinion. Like you don't force those ones. But anybody that signed in, anybody that showed interest, even anybody you gave a card to in a way, figure a way to have a lead to next. And I guess if you gave a card and you don't have any of their information, you can't really, I guess I'll go back a little bit on that. But anybody that signed in and you have some sort of way, this right here gets lost all the time with agents, is they're not leading to next, right? I try to not let anybody that leave without a lead to next. That could be, okay, well, I'm going to send a Holmes. I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. I'm going to send something as simple as I'm just going to send you a text. And if you need to use my number, right? But there should always be a lead to next. Does everybody feel like they do this at the open house, or do they have people that you got contact information that you just let walk out the door?
Usually if I get their information, I have a conversation, and because they're asking for something or they want more information. So I always try to tell them what I'm going to do.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, good. What about you, Chance? Are you always ending with a lead to like some sort of upfront contract, they call it, in the sales funnel when they leave?
Yeah, like somewhat, but I think like an important note on that is like, first of all, I don't always get everyone's number. You try to, but obviously sometimes we don't. If they have another realtor and you didn't provide enough value, or simply they already know what they're doing, sometimes you just won't get their info. That's how some people are. But to me, the important thing is like a majority of my leads do not answer that first text, that second text. I mean, sometimes you call them a couple times and they don't answer.
And I think that's where most of us stop,
Yeah.
is when we don't get that. And I've followed up with some people still from my first open house for like 6 months, and now they're just on a drip, and I'm not really touching them too much,
Yeah.
but they appreciate that. Like, even if they didn't answer me